So I welcome all the third year BTech Automobile students from Automobile Engineering Department, Rajarambapur Institute of Technology, Rajaramnagar, Maharashtra, for this unit number 6, sensors and actuators. So this is the last unit as per as automobile electrical and electronics course is considered. And under this, we are going to discuss about the various sensors. In the curriculum, it is given that automotive sensors like air flow rate sensor, MAP, that is the manifold absolute pressure sensor, engine crankshaft angular position sensor, magnetic reluctant position sensor, engine speed sensor, Hall effect position sensor, optical crankshaft position sensor, throttle angle sensor, temperature sensor, EGO, that is the exhaust gas oxygen sensor. And after this, we are going to see about the various automotive actuators like fuel injector, solenoid, stepper, motors, and relay. Though in automotive, various other different types of the sensors are being used as well as actuators are being used. Only representative, some of the sensors from engine, some of the sensors from your powertrain chassis we are going to see. And all the actuators also we are not going to discuss, only representative few uh, actuators we are going to discuss. So here, before starting this, let us have some recap. That is the time for review. So here, in case of this, we are going to see, that is the recap, taking the recap, that is looking to the earlier curriculum. We till today have completed unit number 1 to unit number 5, wherein we gone through the various electrical systems, accessories, automotive batteries, starting and charging system, ignition system, automotive electronic systems. And now this particularly unit number 6 is dedicated to sensors and actuators. So automotive electrical and electronics, the major components we already seen, but looking to the latest cars wherein we found so many sensors and actuators. So this last unit is very, very important as far as today's scenario is considered. So for this unit, we are having this different unit learning outcomes. So at the end of this unit, the students will be able to identify the role of sensors and actuators in automobiles. That is unit learning outcome number 1. Then unit learning outcome number 2, that is categorize various sensors and actuators. Third, illustrate the construction and working of various sensors used for automotive engines. Similarly, illustrate the construction and working of various automotive actuators. So these are the 4 different unit learning outcomes that we are going to look after for this entire unit number 4. So at the start only, if you see during the introduction, that is in the introduction, we are observing that automotive manufacturers are continuously increasing the use of electronics. And why we are relying on these electronics components or electrical systems? There are different reasons. First and very important reason is to improve the vehicle performance, because with the help of this electronic system, we can achieve the maximum performance, vehicle performance. And when we are talking about this vehicle performance, this is the combination of the performance of system subsystem. Just like as a engine performance will get increased, then the transmission performance we get, so which will lead to the overall vehicle performance. So along with that, another important advantage of being utilizing this electronic system is safety. We can have maximum safety when we are using these electronic systems. Again, we are getting maximum passenger comfort with the help of this using of these electronic components, that is HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system, that we can use effectively when we are using these electronic components. So sensors and actuators integrated with automotive control systems helps to optimize vehicle performance with improving reliability and durability both. Not only it improves the performance, but it also improves the reliability and the durability. So this is just a simple diagram which shows the what is the relationship between sensor and actuator. So sensor here we are terming it as an input. So this is the general that is schematic which shows the relation between sensor and actuator. So sensor is input. From this input we are giving some input to this microcontroller, that is the process wherein we are doing some processes, and from that processes we are actually getting some output, that is the actuator. So when we are connecting this actuator to back to this input, this particularly system in control words, control engineering words, we are calling this as a feedback system. So this sensor is the input side components and actuators is the output side components. So sensors and actuators, these are the critical components in every closed loop control system. And without these two components, there will not be any system. And these are the unsung heroes of automotive vehicles, because till date, no one has seen seriously about the sensors and actuators. But now, whatever the vehicles coming on the road, that every vehicle is now equipped with n number of sensors along with n number of actuators. Now, these unsung heroes, which were not taken that much seriously, now manufacturers are taking this seriously. Now, these heroes are singing. That is, these unsung heroes are now becoming the singing heroes of these automotive vehicles. And here, the system which utilizes the sensors and actuators in line with incorporating various electrical and electronic components, which we are calling it as a mechatronic system, or in automotive words, we are calling it as a autotronics. So before starting this automotive electronics or autotronics, one question starts from ourselves. So in our body, how many sensors do we have? How many sensors do you have in our bodies? So if you consider human body as a system, so to this human body, how many sensors are there? So human beings are equipped with 5 different types of these sensors. So we already know that what are these 5 sensors. So these are the 5 sensors. Now what is this? This particularly here it is, we are observing that these are the eyes. Second one, it is the ears. Third one, it is the tongue. Fourth one, it is the nose. And fifth one, it is the skin. So though it is shown as a palm, that is a hand palm, we are saying that it is a skin. So with these are the different types of the sensors which we are utilizing in every activity. Human beings are using this particularly for every activity. Now what this eye detects the light, ear detects the sound, and this tongue and nose, this both detects the certain chemicals, whereas the skin detects the pressure and temperature. Now, if you correlate this, whatever the application of the sensors in our human body, how we can that sensors within the body. Suppose this is a human being, and this human being is having this particularly 5 different types of the sensor. That is vision, that is the eyes, hearing, that is the ear, tactile sensing, that is with the help of this particularly hand or that particular skin. With the help of this nose, we are having this smell, and with the help of this particular tongue, we are getting this taste. Now here, biological sensing processes and its analogy to engineering senses, we can say this is as a sensor. With the help of the sensor, we are having the stimulus, that is receptor or neutral dendrites, which convert the stimulus into electrochemical impulses. This is the work of your sensors and transducer, where in these sensors and transducer, we'll have the electrochemical impulses, and these electrochemical impulses comes in the neural axon, that is transmit the action potential to central nervous system coming under this communication. And with the help of this, we are having the action potential, that is central nervous system in our brain. We are having the central nervous system which interprets the stimulus and creates sensory perception, that is signals are being processed. Now the eyes, ear, tongue, nose and skin receive these signals, and then they send these messages to the brain, which outputs a response. Now take example. When you touch a hot plate, it is your brain that tells you it is hot, not your skin, because skin is going to stimulate this particularly electrochemical impulses, and this skin is going to send this electrochemical impulses to the our central nervous system, that is particularly neural system, which is brain. And this brain decides according to the temperature of that particular plate whether it is hot or cold. So by touching a hot plate, brain is going to tell you that it is hot, it is not the skin. So making sense out of sensors. This is one of the very important proverb we are going to utilize in our throughout discussion. So in automotive sectors, if we count the number of sensors, the count may go more than 30, 40, 50, 60 likewise. And latest cars are even moving up to n numbers. That is, from this particularly sensors, we need to making sense. We need to take some sensing from that particularly all sensors. So what is sensor now? So as per the ANSI, that is American National Standards Institute, the sensor is defined as a device which produces a usable output in response to a specified pressure. And here, this particularly sensor is having again some input and output. So there will be some input signal and we are getting some output signal from this sensor. So input signal will maybe of electrical, maybe of digital, maybe of analog. Similarly, output signal may be of digital, maybe of analog. So a sensor acquires a physical quantity and it converts it into a signal suitable for processing. That signal may be optical signal, electrical signal, or mechanical signal. So this particularly physical quantity. Now, what quantity we are going to measure and which quantity we are required to convert into suitable processing, because whatever we are sensing, that must be converted into suitable processing through the various means, and that in detail means we are going to discuss in this particularly sensor and actuators. So nowadays common sensors converts measurement of physical phenomena into an electrical signal. So active element, what is the transducer, or what is the difference between sensor and transducer? So active element of the sensor, we are calling it as a transducer. Active element of sensor, we are calling it as a transducer. So what further we can define? It is a device which measures a physical variable and converts it into electrical variable. That is very, very important. So we are converting physical quantity into electrical quantity, which can be read by an observer or control unit. So here it is the schematic of sensor. So we are shown here, that is what is the input to the sensor and what is the output to the sensor. So input to the sensor, it is a physical or chemical quantity or parameter, which may be, for example, temperature, pressure, angle, position, concentration, mass, likewise. There will be a number of physical and chemical quantities. Now, when we are say that is converting this physical quantity into analog or discrete signal, some noise or cross sensitives are there, and that noise and cross sensitivity, that is disturbances, need to be taken care when you are converting this physical quantity into signal, electrical variables. Okay, so this is the schematic how the sensor works. Now what is actuator? So output part of this particularly control unit is nothing but actuator, whereas sensor is the input part of your any control system. Now actuator is a general term which describes the control mechanism, and actuator is a part of open loop or maybe closed loop, because if you are not connecting that actuator back to the input, that is the sensor, then that particular we are calling it as an open loop. And if we are connecting it back to the sensor, then we are calling it as a closed loop. So this system connects the electrical unit with the processes. Now the actuator consists of a transformer and a final control element, and each positioning signals are converted to mechanical output. Then what is the transducer? Actually, both actuators and sensors are transducer. A transducer is a device which converts one form of energy into another form. That is, any form of energy can be converted into another form. So what is the difference between sensor and actuators as far as energy transformation is considered? So in sensors, we are converting physical parameter into electrical output. And exactly opposite to this, actuators are converting this electrical input into the physical output. So the conversion is exactly opposite in sensors and actuators. So this need to be remembered, because whenever you are discussing any sensor or any actuator, you need to see the fundamentals. So if you see now where the sensor and actuator we are utilizing in vehicle. So in vehicle, this is particularly now the transmission system, wherein there is an engine, transmission, and with the help of this propeller shaft and other transmission unit, we are transferring it power which is developed in the engine through this transmission system. We are transferring it to the road wheels. Now over this particularly chassis, we are having the suspensions upon which we are driving, drivers having these drivers, that is steering. Now this steering and other vehicle controls, that may be your accelerator, that may be your steering, that may be your brakes, isn't it? That may be your clutch operation. That all operations are going to be carried out by this driver. So driver here, it is a human one. And as we seen earlier, this human being is now having the different sensors, that is 5 sensors we have seen, and that is the input. So first it is a vision, another one is a touch, hearing, smell, and this particularly taste. Whatever we seen earlier, that is, these are the 5 sensors through which this driver is sensing. Now this driver, by observing or by getting the information from all these 5 sensors, is going to decide the output. So driver output signal is going to be given to the microprocessor. Now here, take example now, here vision. So with the help of these eyes, the driver is observing in front of the vehicle what is the road, what is the condition, whether we are going on a plain road, there is no any particularly obstacles and likewise. So likewise here, with the help of this touch, we are getting whether it is required to that is make the gear change or not, whether I have to accelerate or not. Likewise, this is just an example. So with the help of this input, driver input from the various sensors, he decides, that is the brain decides what actions are required to be carried out, and these actions are given to this microprocessor, and from that microprocessor we are going to see whether it is a gear is required to change or not, then what is the road speed, what is the sleep signal, and what is the engine performance signal likewise. So this particularly total indicates the vehicle dynamics of this your total vehicle, how the vehicle is going to be run on these roads when with the help of this particularly sensory and actuator interaction. Now for this particularly operation of your total overall vehicle, we require to use various sensors, various actuators, and that various actuators and sensors we are going to see in detail. Now in automobiles, we are having so many different types of these sensors. Suppose this is a car. This car is having different component systems, subsystems. Now all these systems components we add particularly for discussion for the sensors and actuators. We divided all these components in 3 categories. So first category here, it is a powertrain, which includes the engine and transmission. So this is the engine and transmission. This is the front side of this car. So first category of the particularly components and system as far as car is considered, that is a power train. Now second, we are having these driving aids. So what are they related to the driving? What are the different types of the systems we are utilizing? That comes under the driving. And last third one, it is related to other systems and components which are required for safety and comfort. Now, as per this particularly powertrain, for this powertrain, what type of information which required to convert? Or in other words, what are the different sensors coming under this powertrain? So these are the sensors. So under the powertrain of any car, airflow, air-fuel ratio, camshaft position, coolant fluid level, crankshaft motion, detonation, exhaust oxygen, manifold pressure, oil level, oil temperature, throttle position, transmission output speed, transmission temperature. So all these are the different sensors which comes under this category powertrain or engine transmission. Then if you see the driving aid, under the driving aid we are having the different sensors. That may be acceleration position sensor, anti-knock brake system sensor, cameras, radar, ultrasonic, infrared, or LIDAR. All these are the parking and object detection sensors, steering rate sensor, tactile, that is haptic touch sensors, vehicle speed. And if you consider the safety and comfort, this third category, in that we are utilizing the sensors for brake fluid, compartment temperature or humidity, door position, electronics monitoring and diagnosis, outside conditions, ride comfort, acceleration for active suspension control, tire pressure, and washer fluid level. So these are, if you go or if you list these all these sensors, the list may go more than 50 to 60, 70, and that depends upon how much sophistication you are providing in this particularly car. So as we are utilizing maximum, if we are desiring maximum comfort, maximum driving, if that is aids, or maximum efficient powertrain, then number of sensors, whatever we require, should be more. So these are the sensors in total which we are going to utilize in the automobile. So to discuss all these sensors, this is beyond our scope. So from all this list, we will see only the representative and important sensors during the in detail discussion of the sensors. Now this is about the sensors. What about the what particularly variables these particularly sensors are utilizing? So these sensors are utilizing measuring the mass air flow rate, exhaust gas oxygen concentration, throttle plate angular position, crankshaft angular position or its speed RPM, revolutions per minute, crankshaft angular position, coolant temperature, intake air temperature, ambient air pressure, ambient air temperature, manifold absolute pressure, MAP, differential exhaust gas pressure relative to ambient, vehicle speed, transient gear selector position, actual transmission gear, and various pressures. So these are the different variables which we are required to measure with the help of these sensors. To these variables we require to transfer from this particularly physical parameter into the electrical one. Now, if you see another one, that is the actuator, how many actuators are there and what are the different types? As seen here earlier, this is the same car we are taking, and similarly to earlier, we are dividing all these systems and components in three different categories, that is powertrain, engine and transmission, driving aid, and safety and comfort. Under the powertrain, that is engine and transmission, in line with the sensors, we are having different actuators. So actuators may be the brushless DC motors, fluid pumps and blowers, linear actuators for valves, lubricating oil pump, transmission actuators, stepper motors for cooling fan, throttle wall actuators likewise. If you see for your driving aids, this particularly contains the actuators like automated action devices, anti-lock braking system actuator, cruise control actuator, electric parking brakes, headlight movement actuator, piezoelectric actuators, solenoid, switches and relays, torque motors likewise. And finally, if you see the safety and comfort, again we can have the list of actuators like active suspension actuators, HVAC, that is heating, ventilation and air conditioning actuators, stepper motors again, that is sunroof movement actuators, windshield wiper actuators, here it is misspelled WIPR, wiper actuators, window movement actuators. So again, if you go through this list, the actuators are again various different number of types of the actuators we are utilizing, and this is again beyond our scope to go in detail the working, construction and working of each and every actuator. So out of these, only selected actuators we are going to discuss under this unit, which are very important. Now, what are the different sensors? We will start now first the sensors. What is the primary introduction of the sensors? Then after this, we are going to discuss about the representative sensors, its construction details, various types, how it works, what is the circuit diagrams, what are the advantages, disadvantages, what are the particularly limitations. So only representative sensors we are going to see. So before this, we need to see earlier in history, what are the important milestones in automotive sensor development. So in 1950, first oxygen sensor for exhaust analysis comes into existence. After that, in 1960, the electrochemical pressure sensor was got introduced. Then after 1960, in 1970, first silicon-based pressure sensor was introduced. Then in 1980, integrated pressure sensor was introduced. 1990, micro machine accelerator for airbag, micro machine air mass sensor, and micro machine yaw rate sensor. That is air mass sensor, yaw rate sensor, and airbag accelerometer was introduced in 1990. And along with that also piezo yaw rate sensor for electronic stability program, that is ESP. And in 2000 onwards, there was a rapid development in this particularly automotive sensor. And in 2000, we got the entry of angular rate sensor for rollover. So from this 2000 onwards, every now year, you are getting the introduction of newer and newer sensor as we are developing our technology. Now, on which basic principles these all sensors are working? We are going to discuss only the representative one. And one of these very important, that is the rotational motion sensor. Now, on which principle it works? This type of sensor works on the principle like variable reluctance, Hall effect, or magnetoresistor. These sensors measures the rotational speed of shaft. That may be in automotive camshaft position sensor, crankshaft position sensor. These are the examples of this particularly rotational motion. Engine crankshaft, engine camshaft, wheel speed can also be measured with the help of this rotational motion sensor. So this is the first category of these sensors which we are utilizing in automobiles. That is the rotational motion sensor, which works either on variable reluctance, Hall effect, or magnetic resistor. Another one, if you see, that is the pressure sensor. So this pressure sensor works on the principle that is when pressure is applied to any part, electrical signal or electrical voltage is generated. And this generated voltage is then supplied or given to the ECU, that is electronic control unit. These pressures we can measure from 10 kilopascal to 180 kilo megapascal. And this type of sensors was on the piezoresistive or capacitive principle. So what are the examples here? Pressure sensors. So in engine, we can have the MAP sensor, that is manifold absolute pressure sensor, engine barometric manifold pressure, turbo boost pressure, evaporative fuel leak pressure. These are some of the examples wherein we can utilize this pressure sensor, which works on either piezoresistive or capacitive principle or simple principle, that is when pressure is applied to any part, electric voltage is generated. Now third component or third category or third particularly group is a temperature sensor. This sensor works on the thermistor principle. There are other different types of the sensors are also there. We are going to see later on. So this is a thermistor, basic principle on which works. It is a thermistor. It generates the voltage according to the temperature of part, and we are sending it to the ECU. It can measure the temperature right from 100 minus 100 to 1000 degrees Celsius. So engine coolant temperature, air intake temperature, then tire pressure, that is tire air temperature, cooling water temperature, likewise. These are some of the examples. Now, if you go for fourth, linear and angular position sensor, these sensors work on the potentiometer or optical encoder or on Hall effect principle. This linear position sensor measures linear distance, which ranges from 2 micron to 200 mm. Angular position sensor measures the angular position of the components. The examples are fuel float level, accelerometer pedal angle, and transmission gear positions. These are we are measuring with the help of this linear and angular position sensor. Then on which criteria we can select this particularly sensor? So actually it needs to be discussed at the last, but I have that is purposefully taken this in the start of that particular only, start of the discussion only, because when we are going to discuss in detail the each and every sensor, at that time you need to correlate this selection criteria when we are going to discuss that in detail. So there are so many different factors that may, some of them may be static, some of maybe the dynamic, that require to be taken care. First, it is a range. Range is nothing but it is the difference between maximum and minimum value of the sensed parameter. For example, that is the temperature. So what is the range? So minus 100 to maximum 1000 degree. So what is the minimum value and maximum value? So you need to consider this range, and this range of that particular sensor depends upon the application. So the range for temperature sensor for cooling system is different than that of our temperature sensor which we are going to fit in the combustion chamber, isn't it? So that is the range. Second, it is the resolution. The smallest change the sensor can differentiate. Every sensor need to be taken into consideration, this very important criteria. Then third, it is the accuracy, differentiating measured value and the true value. All this, that is the titles, whatever you are observing, you already studied in the metrology or the measurements. So I'm not going to discuss in detail, but these all terminologies you need to correlate with your sensor selection. So accuracy, that is the difference between measured value and true value. Precision, ability to reproduce repeatedly within a given accuracy. Then sensitivity, ratio of change in output to unit change of the output. So at what particularly within how much smallest degree or smallest available time you can change this output. Then zero offset, a non-zero value output for no input. Then linearity, percentage of deviation from the base fit linear calibration curve. Zero drift, that is a departure of output from zero value over the period of time. Response time, what is the time lag between the input and output. Then bandwidth, the frequency at which the output magnitude drops by 3 decibel. Resonance, the frequency at which output magnitude peak occurs. Operating temperature. So there are so many different selection criteria, and these selection criteria need to consider when you are selecting any sensor for a particular application. So suppose, now take example, I want to select a sensor for engine cooling system. So you need to at one side list out the what are the different environmental conditions, positions, what are the different variables that are going to vary as per as cooling system is considered, and from that what is your expectations, what is the maximum temperature do you expect from that particularly cooling system, what is the particular response time you expect, whether it is a linear changing change in that particularly with respect to that change in temperature, we are either changing the voltage or either changing the any other parameters, whether it is a linear non-linear, what is the signal to noise ratio. So likewise here all these are the different particularly criterias. Now apart from all these static and dynamic criterias, we must have to ask some questions when we are going for selection of sensor for any particular application. Suppose I am going to select the sensor for cooling system, specifically engine cooling system. So first important question I need to ask is what is to be measured in that cooling system. What is my that is objective? I need to measure the temperature of the water. So what is to be measured? That is the temperature of the water. Then what is the magnitude, range, dynamics of measured quantity? I need to give the answer. What is the required resolution and accuracy as per as engine performance criteria is considered? What is the cost? This is also very important criteria. What is the cost? Because for measuring the temperature in market, you will find so many different n number of temperature sensors. So out of that, you need to select the optimum cost sensor. And what is the environment? Then what is the interface requirements? Interface requirement may be what is the output quantity, whether it is voltage, whether it is current, whether it is resistance, what is the sensitivity, what is the signal conditioning, whether it is A to D required, that is analog to digital, that is conversion is required or not, or digital to analog required. So such type of this particularly sensors selection criteria we required to consider. Then operational criteria, just like this, it is given that is the what is the sensitivity, accuracy, repeatability, power requirements, process requirements, self-diagnosing requirement, reliability, what is the weight, what is the size, what is the range, what is the output signal specifications. So from all these spheres of the use of that particular sensor in that particular specified environment, we need to consider. So we will go now for discussing of the engine sensor. So if you took the engine or that engine where the actual locations of engine sensors are. So this is the engine wherein we are having the engine block, or that there is a engine cylinder head, then crankcase, or that engine cylinder head we are having throttle position sensor, air flow sensor, air intake temperature, intake manifold pressure sensor, camshaft position sensor, and on this particularly cylinder block we are having the engine temperature sensor, engine oil pressure sensor, NOx sensor, transaxle sensor likewise, and in the particularly bottom in the crankcase we are having this oil level sensor, oxygen sensor likewise. Now major sensors which we are going to discuss in this particular unit, these are the air flow rate sensor, MAP sensor, engine crankshaft angular position sensor, magnetic reluctance position sensor, engine speed sensor, Hall effect sensor position, optimal crankshaft position sensor, throttle angle sensor, temperature sensor, and ego sensor, that is the exhaust gas oxygen sensor. So only these representative 10 sensors we are going to discuss in this unit. So here today we will stop. In next lecture we will start the discussion on airflow rate sensor. So here we end this discussions. So in next lecture we will start this particularly airflow rate sensor in detail. Thank you for